Hello everyone, this is Douglas from Other Than Intended Purpose and Jack's behind the camera. This video is actually one that has been requested of me a couple of times and I finally got around to it. It's multi-tools. I talk about my Leatherman tools now and then and the fact that I have had them over a long period of time. So today we're going to go through all of the multi-tools that I have and talk about why I carry what I carry. Bring it up. Okay, we're going to start off not talking about Leatherman tools, because multi-tools have been around a lot longer than Leatherman tools. It's just the first one that had the types of tool sets that it uses. The first one that I ever got was, now this is made by Maxim, and this is called a bosun's knife. It's got a sheep's foot blade. This is a shackle wrench. It's for putting over the little, supposed to be thumb stud, but they sometimes get too tight. You lock that out, it gives you some leverage to turn that. It's got a scraper on it, a can opener, which does work. I've used this. But where this really shines is it's got a marlin spike on it. There we go. I'm terrible at cameras. It's got a marlin spike on it, and the function of a marlin spike is when you have ropes or any kind of cordage that the knot has just gotten too tight, you put the pointy end into it, work it until you're up on the thicker part, and then wiggle it, and it'll loosen your knot. These actually have been around since the late 12th century, and they were at that time almost a foot long and were worn on a strap around sailors' necks, because you can imagine out on the ocean when ropes are how you control your boat, that a lot of knots got stuck.
Also, don't believe him. He's really good at cameras, he's just not good at being in front of them sometimes.
Okay, details. This is very similar to that, except this is a much newer version and it was a gift. This is a Rough Rider, and you can see it still has, this way, it still has the sheep's foot blade. The good thing about a sheep's foot blade is if you are trying to cut something and it slips, it's not pointy up here, so you have less chance of stabbing yourself. And it's a very straight edge, so it's good for cutting straight down into things. And the blade on this does not lock, but what makes this one unique, and as you can see, the marlin spike is actually a bit beefier. When you lock that out, if you're wedging this in and twisting it and trying to get into a knot, you don't want that snapping back on your fingers. Well, that actually locks. And this right here, you rock this down. It's an oval cam. You rock that down and it pulls the lock out so that you can close it. And these I would consider to be the earliest versions of multi-tools. The next generation or advancement in a multi-tool was Victorinox and the Swiss Army knife. I only have two Swiss Army knives. One I don't carry simply because it's very bulky. I do use this at home sometimes. It has a magnifying glass on it, which is kind of cool. Screwdrivers, it's got scissors. It has the tweezers, although at some point in time the toothpick got lost. But this, standard, Victorinox Swiss Army knife. One that I do carry, which is also a Victorinox, is the Ranger Grip 79, and it's got a beefier blade. And the locking mechanism on this is actually the shield. You push down on the shield to release the blade. And instead of a corkscrew, which I've never been walking through the woods and thought, oh my God, I need to open a bottle of wine. Possibly because I don't drink wine. I don't drink alcohol, but that's irrelevant. Has a screwdriver. Sorry, train of thought just jumped the tracks there.
What is somewhat relevant and kind of funny is handing this to someone who doesn't know that the shield's the way to unlock the knife.
Yes, that is funny. This, unlike this one, is an actual sewing awl because it has the hole in it. When you put the sinew or waxed cord, whatever you're using to sew, through that, push it through until it's all the way past, bring it back enough to make it loop, and pass your second piece through the back. That's how you would repair leather, heavy canvas, things like that. And this particular one has the biggest, beefiest pocket knife folding saw I've ever seen. I'm going to compare this real quick. I am going to bring out a Leatherman. This is the Leatherman Super Tool 300. This is the big boy of Leatherman Super Tools, of Leatherman tools. That is your difference in saw. Now the saw on a tool like this is never going to cut down trees or even cut branches off trees very well. What these are good for is notching when you're making shelters, traps, things like that. Now the saw on this doesn't lock, but oh well. I'm not going to get into every single tool on every single tool, or this is going to be a 9-hour video and my throat ain't going to do that, and you guys ain't going to watch it anyway, so irrelevant. And last one before I get into Leatherman. This one was a gift from a friend, and it hasn't seen a lot of use, although it is spring-loaded, which I kind of wish some of my other ones were. Well, some are, but I wish the ones I carry were. It's just the tool sets that is in this isn't everything that I need. And DeWalt makes good power tools, but they contract these out, and this is a Chinesium made tool. That, and it's got a combination blade, which is usually a... Oh, it's liner lock. Aha. I'm a dumbass. Not going to reshoot that just because, well, why pretend? Everybody knows I'm a dumbass. Now getting into Leatherman tools. And how did I get into Leatherman tools? When I was 17 years old in 1985, I joined the Army. And on day 3 of basic training, they take you to the PX with a list of things you have to have, a list of things you're not allowed to have, and then it's got a list off to the side of things that you might find helpful. One of the things on that, and this is Leatherman, the company Leatherman is actually named after the founder, Tim Leatherman. He came up with the idea of this tool in 1983, after like 15 years of versions. This is the Leatherman PST, the Pocket Survival Tool. And this is one of 2 that I bought in basic training in 1985. The other one had a less than illustrious end to its life. Jack knows what happened to it. But this tool actually was purchased in August of 1985. And I have had it the entire time. I thought I had lost this one as well as these 2, but turns out they were in a box in my mom's garage, and I got them back after she passed.
The other one had a bit of a shitty circumstance happen to it.
Yeah. About 2 years after I got this showed up, and backing up, in 85, I bought one, and then a couple of weeks later, realized that there are so many times in life you need 2 pair of pliers or a plier and a driver at the same time, so I bought a second one. And so I have carried 2 Leatherman tools on my belt since 1985. Solid through. In 86 or 7, they came out with this, which is the Leatherman Mini. And I bought this exact one. These were bought at the PX. This was bought at a PX on a different base. And this was perfect for carrying in your watch pocket if you don't carry a pocket watch. And you'd think, wow, the pliers are almost the same size as the PST, but there's only half a handle. And you'd be right until you did this. And then functionally, they were the same.
Hey Leatherman, you should bring this one back.
Yes, you should. This one is so cool, and you just can't find them. I mean, if you find one on the secondary market, they want stupid amounts of money for it. I paid, I think, $12.99 for this. Of course, I paid $19.99 for this, the PST. But so this one I carried 2 of these on my belt, this one in my watch pocket for many years. I don't remember when these came about. I have had about 10 of these over my life, but this was the next one I got.
10 minimum.
I've given away half a dozen.
Yeah.
This one is off of my wheelchair. And I carry it on my wheelchair because this is one of the best pairs of... I need to clean and lube that. That's kind of sticky. Probably from being on my wheelchair for the last 10 years. But it has a dinky little knife that you could open packages with if you didn't have anything else. And nail cleaner. I've actually used the nail cleaner and the nail file. I keep my nails really short. And if they come out at all, I make sure that I take care of that. And these tweezers are actually pretty decent for pulling out splinters. I've pulled out quite a few with that. I suppose that would work for eyeglasses. I've never needed to do that. But this is the PST, the Mini, and the Micra. And then you have the ones that age. In 89 or 90, I think. Oops, that side's got my last 4 on it. They came out with the Super Tool. And so I got this and started carrying one of each of these on my belt. Because this is a much beefier piece of pliers. It's got a serrated blade and a straight blade. Little file. It's got a screwdriver. It's got a little bit of saw. But having a little bit heavier duty tool was a good thing. A few years later, they came out with the Super Tool 200, which is an upgraded version. Got a little bit beefier pliers. You've got the 2 blades. All the tools are pretty much the same, but when you snap this out, it locks in place. And the way you unlock it is by rocking this back. And actually, Leatherman, when you bring back this locking system too. I like this locking system better than some of the others. It's stronger than the push button ones, and it's a lot easier than... I believe the locking on this one this is one of the ones that has... Yeah, the locking on this, see that's locked? The way you unlock it is by bringing another tool out, and it raises that up and allows it to close. I don't like having to pull more tools out to lock them, so I'm glad they got rid of that. I wish they'd bring this back. When they came out with the 300, they tried to make it even easier, and I guess it is, but I like this one better. This, you push on that. What the hell? Oh, there you go. Oh, can't do it with the pliers in the way. You push on that, and it releases the lock. But this is the 300. You can see how much beefier the head is, and it's got replaceable cutters. It just kept getting bigger and heavier, which to my mind is good.
Also, to anyone with big hands, when you're using like a knife or something, if your hands are getting in the way of the blade, open it and grip it. A lot of people don't think of that.
Yeah, I forgot to even say that. That's how I always use it if I'm going to use the blades on these, just because I've got big hands. Oops, I almost left one off the table. This goes with my new ones. Okay, one that I got that I kept it because I keep tools. That's just what I do. But I wasn't particularly fond of is the Kick. And I think these are discontinued. But I don't know, it just, the little plastic inserts felt weird to me, and they went back. That's the only downside to no fingernails. They went back to the system where you unlock it by pulling out another tool. So, yeah, I got this one thinking it looked really cool, and then hardly ever carried it. Then we move to, well, this is Jack's right here. I gave this to Jack. I gave you one for your 18th birthday, and that disappeared, and then I gave you this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a Wave Plus. And where the hell? Oh. My Wave is over here with these because this is actually what I carry in my, one of two that I carry on my belt right now. And like I said, I've bought two of these Wave Pluses, one, and they both went to Jack, and I kept my old Wave just because, well, I'm old. And if it works, why bother changing it? But the Wave Plus has a couple of features on it that my Wave doesn't. It has the replaceable cutter heads. It's the locking on these tools is not. You do have liner locks on the blades. But the Wave Plus is a very good tool, and Jack uses the hell out of his.
All the time.
I'm going to put my other Wave back over there for the minute. So this is Jack's, and he has gotten to the point where he just doesn't want to leave the house without it. Kind of like me.
I have a friend that's doing some off-grid living, and it has saved my butt a couple of times out there.
Now moving on to new ones, and I'm going to put these in the order that I got them. Hold on. Yes. This is the Rev, and it is one of the few Leathermans that comes with a pocket clip. It's a lightweight tool. It's more for lighter duty stuff. I've had this one for a couple of years. This used to be the tool that I kept in my wheelchair. And we'll get to the difference in that in a minute. This is the bolster, which Jack bought me. And I really like this one. It's one of the, oops, wrong way. It's one of those spring-loaded ones. I said I wish more of them were, and I had one that was. This has become my desk Leatherman. I have desk Leatherman, I have desk knives, I have desk flashlights. I spend a lot of time on my desk, or at my desk, so yes, I have a dedicated desk Leatherman, okay? And this one, I keep it in the sheath to keep it clean, but this one gets used probably 8 or 10 times a week for different things, and it just lives on my desk.
Ironic thing about that, within a week, my dad got one of those from me and one from an online friend.
This has kind of replaced the Micra in a lot of ways. because it is also a pair of scissors. It has tweezers on it. Is that, yeah, that's the tweezers. It has tweezers on it. And it has a little bitty blade. But this is the Leatherman style, and what a lot of people like about this over the Micra is that it comes with a carabiner, so you can attach it to stuff. And because everything is a freaking bottle opener, the carabiner actually works as a bottle opener. At least they say it does. I've never tried it. I never felt the need to open a bottle with my scissors. And then this is my newest one, and it was a birthday gift from a very good friend. Sean, if you're watching, thank you. I do love this. This is so cool. That is a small hammer pommel. You can use it to drive stakes or whatever. It's got a ferro rod. This is a pain in the butt to, there we go. That is actually a diamond hone. So if the blade gets dull, you've got two sides of it. You can hone that down and sharpen up your blade. It locks on here with this is the locking mechanism. The blades are externally accessible, and they are liner locks. I'll grab this for just a second. It's a little saw. The saw is also a liner lock. You've got the plier head. And then because you have so much stuff on the outside, there's a limit to what you have on the inside. There are, that's an awl, that's an actual sewing awl. Can opener, which does work, I've tried it, and a screwdriver with replaceable bits. And we will get more into that in just a minute. And it has the pocket clip on it. This one has replaced the Rev as my wheelchair Leatherman. And I am planning on doing a short video on it, but I have a tool kit in my that rides on the back of my wheelchair that is more of a survival and emergency toolkit than tools to work on cars or something. And this has replaced my Rev in that kit. While I'm talking about this, I can show you real quick. I have, because my Surge has replaceable bits, I got the bit kit, which has quite a few bits. The one that I keep in my Surge is the right one to tighten a specific screw on my wheelchair that vibrates loose twice a week. And it's a lot easier just to have that in there than have to worry about it. But these bits all fit in that carrier, and sometimes these aren't very long. So I've got this extender that snaps into that carrier. Now this will take these bits, but it will also take, dun dun dun. No, not a dramatic pause, just forgot to pull this out because I wasn't planned as far forward as I thought I was. Man, those stick in there really well. Same one that takes these flat ones that Leatherman makes, they're proprietary bits, with this extender, now holds any 1/4-inch driver bit. I pulled that straight out of my Weehaw kit that was sent to me because someone didn't like the fact that I was using Harbor Freight Chinesium bits to take my knives apart. But that's snug. Christ on a cracker, that's snug.
Is it?
Hold on. There we go. Good thing I had a Leatherman tool, huh?
Oh, look at this right there.
But that, I don't remember. Did I get you a bit kit?
Not yet.
I should have. But that goes back in the Weehaw kit. And that one right there is a little, it's actually a Phillips on one side, even though it looks like it's just a spike, and then that's a flathead, and that's a eyeglasses screw. But these,
Similar to this.
yeah, these have come in handy more than once. And what this is, you can put a file in there, but it's also a little screwdriver. Not a screwdriver. I got screwdrivers on the brain. It's a little hacksaw that will fit if you put it in the right way into the Leatherman. Now, I don't generally carry that with me, but it's nice to have the ability.
Seeing as almost all the Leathermen have a saw on them.
Yeah. But anyway, this has replaced the Rev in my wheelchair kit. Now we get down to these two right here. This is a Generation 1 Wave. 4 months before Jack was born, our house burned to the ground. In the rubble of the house, I found where my pants had been, and I found 2 Leatherman sheaths that were completely melted into the tools that were on my belt, and I sent them into Leatherman, and with an explanation of what happened. And I said, in the letter I said, I do not expect you to warranty these, even though you say no matter what, but this is what happened. And apparently they kept my letter and tools and put them on their Hall of Fame. And since both of the tools that I sent in were no longer in production, I received this Generation 1 Leatherman Wave and this Super Tool 200 from Leatherman as replacement tools for the ones that were lost in the fire. I carried these two on my belt for close to 20 years.
Can confirm.
About 5 years ago, I got this Surge as a gift. And I wasn't quite ready to give up my Wave just because it had been in my pocket for so long. I started carrying the Generation 1 Wave, and this is a Generation 1 Surge. There's actually a new Surge that's updated somewhat. And the Wave is very much like Jack's Wave, except there's some improvements in Jack's that aren't in mine. One thing that I really like about the Wave is you can have access to the tools from the outside without having to open it. One thing I wish was different on the Wave is you see that that's a smooth back and that's a smooth blade, and you'd think that'd be really cool, except that's a smooth back and that's a serrated blade, and I don't generally use serrated blades.
Which
I don't know why that one.
they actually changed it on the Wave Plus.
On Jack's, you've got a smooth back, and that's really sticky. You need to clean this.
I do.
The smooth back opens to the smooth blade, or the straight edge. Then you've got serrations. Well, they're called jimping. I was about to say that. I didn't need help. But there's jimping right there. And when you open that up, that's your serrated blade. So even if you're pulling it out of your pocket, you can feel which blade you're opening and open the one you want. My Surge has the same thing. Smooth gives me a straight edge, which I've sharpened this enough times it's actually not a straight edge anymore. It's kind of a slightly concave edge, but it's not serrated. And then you have the jimping opens to serrations. Yeah, I'm telling you to clean yours. I need to clean mine. God dang. Okay, this gets used a lot. I don't know if you can tell that by the level of needing to be cleaned. I almost never use the serrated blade. I'm not really fond of serrated blades. Now, they did with the locking on these, all the outside tools are liner locks. The inside tools, it's got an actual sewing awl on it, which I really like. But the inside tools have this push button, and this is a little bit better of a push button than the one that was on the Super Tool 300. I have actually had these fail. I've never had this one fail, but I still wish they would go back to the blah 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 blah, blah words.
The flicking lock that one of these had.
This one. I wish they would go back to this lock because I've never seen one of these that failed. I'm not saying there's never been one that's failed. I said I've never seen one that's failed. So, yes, I still carry 2 Leatherman tools on my belt. And there are times when I need to grab the back of a nut so that I can turn the front of it with the other tool. There's times when I need a plier on one side and a driver on the other.
That sounded so bad.
It did, but I don't care. Because I'm me and I sound so bad. Alright, I'm going to wrap this up. I do want to say one real quick thing, and I know I've been harping on this lately, but my friend Zach from Zach's Stuff started this campaign. Is that... I can't see that very good. Is that in?
Yeah, it's good.
It's DSKFS. Do something kind for someone. He does not get anything from that at all except satisfaction in knowing that it was something that he started spreading around. It doesn't need to be anything that involves money. It doesn't need to be a huge amount of time. Just say something nice to someone. Help someone carry a bag. Do something that will give the other person a little moment of smile. You never know how important that could have been. How bad their day was going, how tired they were feeling, and that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of kindness could make a real difference in their life. And if you are doing something that has a visible effect and want to take a picture of it, use # DSKFS when you post about it. Don't tell me that's a hashtag, because hashtags don't exist. It's a #. Everyone get out in the woods, have some fun. I hope that this video gave you some information. Have a good night. Goodbye.